Thank you everybody for showing up today to support our Cookies and Conversation and our lovely alumni. And I do want to give a shout out real quick to the birthday girl. Can we get a happy birthday for my girl Linda? My name is Hannah Teklu. I'm one of the program managers here at Together We Bake, and I am also in charge of our workforce development program, and I love it. I also get to do the alumni engagement, so I get to see what's going on with our ladies after they graduate from our program. And I'm going to pass the mic so they can introduce themselves, and we're going to get into it, okay?
Hi, my name is Jacqueline, and I am an alumni from Together We Bake's Winter 2024 program.
I know double fits it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Suzette. I graduated Together We Bake in fall of 2024. I am the president of the Alumni Council, and I'm also the alumni representative on the board of directors, and I'm the secretary also. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to give back to this great organization.
Hi, I'm Azan Desania Chapman, and I am a Together We Bake alum from the class of spring 2023, and always looking for ways to get more involved.
Thank you guys. All right, so I'm gonna get right on into it. I have a question. What was your life like before you joined our program? And why did you decide to sign up? What was Suzette?
So my life before I joined this program was a little uncertain. I had just been recently released from jail after 2.5 years. I had a heart attack 2.5 weeks before my program started, and I wasn't certain, what direction my life was going to go. I knew that I needed some structure, I knew that I needed some help, and I knew that I wanted community. And one of the biggest reasons that I joined this program or applied for this program was because I heard wonderful things about it from other girls that were in the same reentry program I was in. And I really wanted that sense of community. And that's exactly what I've gotten through Together We Bake.
When I came to Together We Bake, I was so stressed and burned out. I came from a social work background, helping people in the healthcare profession, and my mental health diagnosis no longer was allowing me to fulfill that calling. And I had to make a decision to take a step back and figure out how to revamp a way to support myself and better my mental health, because I was suffering. And a friend of mine, Kathy, encouraged me to apply, and it was one of the best decisions because I was isolated. I didn't have a sense of community or a sense of belonging, and I just felt like I was in the shadows dealing with coping with my mental health and still trying to be a professional, and I had to figure out a way to transition in order to keep it together, basically. And when I got to Together We Bake, it was like a breakthrough moment for me, where I got to realize that you don't have to take life so serious, and you can
to give a little bit of background of my situation, I'm not from Alexandria or Virginia, and a unique set of circumstances brought me to Alexandria, so I really didn't have any ties to the community. My family definitely wasn't here, and I definitely wasn't a city girl. So I was displaced, and I really didn't have any resources. So, what was the question again?
Tell me about one or two turning points of where you realized.
Okay, so a couple, one or two turning points. When I actually decided to sign up for the program, I was very nervous and scared on how I would be able to fit in, if the program was for me, what it could do for me, what I could get out of it. And the turning point, I think, for myself was the empowerment and the friends that I made in the program. They definitely helped me transition. I was in a really bad place, and I feel like, meeting the different ladies that were going through similar situations, that was a turning point for me to really say that I can, stay in this program, and I can, continue to be here. There were a few times where I thought, this isn't for me, and I don't want to do any more programs, and, this is just the same old, scenario. You finish the program, and then where do you go after this? What do you do? So I felt like Together We Bake was different, and I had a family, and I could pick up the phone and call someone, and I started a network, and if I needed something, Hannah or one of the other young ladies, they answered the phone, and I felt like, okay, I can do this. I can live here in the city, and I can have a life. It's not something that can happen for me. So.
I think the turning point for me was definitely in group when we were in class. A lot of the trust building and the skill building exercises that we did really helped me to open up more and come into connection with my truth and to build my confidence, and definitely with interviewing and going on job interviews and just really figuring out how to manage. And also the baking with Kalita, making something, the cookies and the granola, that really inspired me to want to make things of my own. And so I really feel like that was the point when I said, yes, I can still, have a balanced life despite whatever mental health challenges. So that was my I can do this moment.
Wonderful. Suzette, in what ways is your life different now compared to before you started the program?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? Because 2 years ago I was just getting out of jail. A little over 2 years ago I was having a heart attack. Then I did the program, and I still didn't know where I was going or what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go back to the area where I was from. I wanted a change of environment, and I was looking to build my community here. So when I think back, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately on where I was 2 years ago and where I am now, and I'm not even the same person. I don't even recognize who I was 2 years ago compared to who I am today. And probably one of the biggest turning points for me in that moment was, during the program on Thursdays, it was always Trust the Process Thursday, and I hated Trust the Process Thursday because I didn't trust nothing, I barely trust myself, much less a process. But I learned that trusting the process was okay, and that I was safe, and that it actually worked out, and that actually changed my life. And today I have this huge community. I actively participate in giving back. I want to see this organization grow and have a bigger footprint in the community, so that our alumni know what it is to give back, to network, and to grow and expand within themselves, because we all deserve to thrive, and we don't have to just survive anymore, because so many of us, that's where we were. Lord knows that's where I was, and now I'm thriving, and I'm grateful and thankful that it started here.
That's wonderful, and I have to go ahead and put this plug out here. She's graduating from this rigorous training she was doing for peer recovery at George Mason University. I'm very proud of her, and she won't say it out loud, but she's alive. She's serving her community and doing her hours here at Together We Bake, and I'm very proud to have her here on our team.
Thank you.
For you too, in what ways is your life different now compared to before you started the program?
I would say before the program, I was desperate. I was hopeless. Again, like I said, I was displaced. I wasn't familiar with Alexandria. I'd never been in Virginia, and Together We Bake helped me find employment and a job that forever changed my life. And once I was able to stand on my own 2 feet and get the job at the law firm that I currently work at, I was then able to get an apartment for my son and I, and begin to believe in myself that I could actually do it, and that I had it in me. So before I think I want to say I was just completely hopeless. I know that there's a better word for the place that I was at, and my story is very unique, and it would be a little bit easier to understand if you knew a little bit about my story. I was in a serious car accident, which caused my right arm to be paralyzed. So I had a lot of new struggles that I never had. 35 years old, I couldn't work, nobody would hire me. I was seen as a disabled person that couldn't do anything, which was far from the truth, but no one really saw me as an intelligent person that, had graduated college and could, do something. I just was told no. And when I came Together We Bake, I was given the opportunity to meet people and eventually get a job. And, now, like Suzette said, I'm thriving, and I feel like Together We Bake was my star. I really owe my life to Together We Bake, because if I hadn't come to Together We Bake and done the program, which before I started the program, I was like, not another program. I'm not doing this again, and I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be around people, and this is just a last resort for me. This is it. If this doesn't work out, God knows what's going to happen. And I was just met with women who wanted to see me be the best that I could be, and put their arms around me and told me that, you're going to be okay, and we're going to help you, and that's exactly what happened. And my goal is to continue to help other women, and programs like this, you know, this is where I got my start, and I want to continue to help other women, and maybe I can help someone that helps someone else. There needs to be a change in the community. There's so many barriers right now, especially with housing. And, you know, the ladies who have been incarcerated and who, you know, may have a background, they just can't get housing. And it's really hard. And I think Together We Bake really advocates. I know Hannah advocated for me. I know she called one place a couple years ago and they said no, and she said, you're discriminating against her. Really advocated for me, and they gave me a chance. They said, okay, we'll let her be here. So, you know, I've just met a lot of wonderful women, and we really need places like this, programs like this, you know, where we can go and be able to get back up. You know, everyone makes mistakes or whatever life circumstances are. You know, we find ourselves in these situations, and we just need that little bit of push and love to kind of get us over that barrier or whatever we're facing. So
I just want to say, you're never hopeless. You're actually very hopeful, and that's why you kept pushing through. You came every single day, you showed up every day, and I'm very proud of you.
I know you did. Lord knows I know she did. I was getting on her last nerve. All right, last question, ladies. What is your best piece of advice for someone just starting a program like ours? Suzette, I'm going to start with you because I know you have.
My best piece of advice for starting the program. My best piece of advice would be to give yourself some grace and give yourself a chance, because this program is amazing and it will change your life if you let it. It will show you exactly who you can be with all the love and support and compassion and kindness you could ever imagine. You know, I never knew there was that much support in the world until I started here.
I would say come with an open mind and an open heart and a willing spirit to do the actual work that it takes to get to know yourself a bit better and to figure out how to be best involved with the group, and to really go through each exercise in group and really try to figure out and address whatever traumas you're facing and address whatever needs you have or concerns, and to embrace change and be willing to pivot. I wouldn't have had the confidence to continue making new jewelry, to try to start my own business and to be more entrepreneurial. And you all taught me that it's okay to take a chance and to try to empower myself. And so that's what I would say, just be open to the experience and definitely trust the process.
So I'll be super quick. Advice that I would give someone that would be new coming into the program would be this isn't just another program, to definitely give it a shot. The women here are amazing. I think Alexandria, Hannah once told me this, and I truly believe this, it is a city of second chances. There are a lot of great people here that are willing to extend their hand to help others, and you just never know what the outcome of your life could be by just giving something a chance. You know, I've been through so many programs, I've done so many programs. Like I said, this was the last stop for me. Together We Bake this was it. If this didn't work for me, then there was gonna be no more programs. I didn't know what my next step in life would be, or what my future, you know, was going to be like, but this was it. And I left with more than I could imagine. I mean, I finished up my degree while I was, you know, doing the program at Together We Bake. I got an amazing job. I've been there going on 3 years at the law firm next door. I was able to find, housing and be able to have a stable place for my son and myself. And I was pursuing my master's degree, and I had a problem getting my second residency because of my background, but I still am plugged in with Together We Bake. And we're still working on ways to deal with that and overcome those challenges. So even though I am not in the program, I work next door, so it's easy. But I come over here and bother Hannah all the time, and we're always collaborating on what do we do, what can we start another program, or can we advocate, or how can we help people moving forward? This is what I'm struggling with. I'm having a problem finishing my master's degree, and Together We Bake is still here. So even though I'm not